Hi, good morning to the Acquire the Future podcast listeners.
Hi,
I,
everyone.
I am Deshay Maroney,
Hi, I'm Tony Maroney.
and we are the co-founders of AcquireAI.io. We are delighted this morning to have Dr. Angela Tran on with us today out of the Denver, Colorado area.
Hello, Dr. Tran.
She is the owner and founder of MedFit Medical Weight Loss. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
on.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Let's have some fun,
Let's
shall
have
we?
some fun.
Yes.
So, like I said earlier, I do have a lot of experience in the healthcare field like you, and I really appreciate everything you have done out there. And I wanted to ask you this. I watched, like I said, watch your podcast, so I don't want to ask the same questions again. I want to do something different. And one of the things that's different is how do you feel about the MAHA movement, and will it at all help your practice out, or will it be a hindrance to you?
Again, the people who are in it to win it are going to find opportunity 100%. Most of the people are going to be scared. They're going to kind of just not understand the unknown and not even embrace it, while the 1% say, ooh, this is something there. And that is what we are here. We're all going to die one day. I never want to regret
Right.
missing out on the opportunities. And we are through a perception filter. And like I tell you, there's always going to be the goodness of something, and those who capture it are just going to go straight up.
Well, that's awesome. That's incredible to hear. And again, your energy into those conversations with your patients seems it's second to none, honestly. When I was going through the PA program, one of the director came up to me and said, he said, Tony, you have the best bedside manner I've ever seen of a physician or physician assistant. And he goes, what do you focus on this? No, it's just part of the personality, because we do care in our heart. And that's what I saw in you, is that you do care for these patients out here, because you expanded your business, not just to include the semaglutides, but you also include health, wellness, nutrition. So talk about those areas and how you develop that interest into furthering the education of the patients.
Yeah, I'll let you know, full transparency, it was messy. As you know, success is never linear. And, I still proud to say I'm one of the few with over 10 years of experience. And this is something I did not learn from a book. Really understanding of connecting with the person, the body chemistry, the personality, even to the bottom of beliefs. And so, yes, a semaglutide peptide can fix one part of the problem, diet another part, exercise another part, but then beliefs, spirit, how you just operate as a being. And I realized that, wow, if we put that together, health is the engine of your life. And that's why I wake up every day just fired up to help the next person that I want to help.
Absolutely. So in today's society, it's starting to change. I'm sure you're seeing it's switching from a pay system to a value-added system to something that's a little bit has better outcomes overall. How do you make those assessments when judging your patients on who's going to have the best outcomes or not? And how do you handle those who come to you and say, hey, I'm not getting any results? Because there's a big process behind that when people say that. And I can hear your brain thinking already about it, but there's steps to this all. Explain those,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, my movement is led from within.
Mhm.
And when someone says, how do you, Dr. Tran, get me results?
Mhm.
Well, I'm not the one getting you the results. You are.
Mhm.
Now, don't get me wrong. I really, really, really wish insurance covered these services.
Right.
But maybe in a time machine, 100 gajillion years later, it will. But at the same time, you have to put skin in your game. And at the end of the day, weight loss is still an investment in yourself. And I am there to help you because I walk the walk. I am the mechanic for your body, so under your body chemistry. And I struggle just as much as you have. I'm 47, female, perimenopause,
Mhm.
have had a child, pregnancy, full-time, worker, husband, all of that.
Yep.
But I'm here to prove that you can be healthy, but it requires a formula.
Mhm.
And that is what I want my patients to invest in themselves, because at the end of the day, you are the result.
Absolutely. You're just giving them the tools, and that's it. They got to use those tools, though. You can lay them out, but if they don't pick up, the shovel, it's not going to get done. And we believe the same thing. We both for semaglutide people as well. We've tried it. I lost 42 pounds off of it, and
Me-
still we both compete bodybuilding as well.
Wow.
I've got her on the national stage. I've trained her. I've been bodybuilding for 30 years too. And that's why I need all my wrists and everything. This needs to be done. They're all broken up and everything, but it's a really good experience to have that healthy lifestyle. But I know this when I was in medical device sales, I always set up expectations for patients on small steps. People think they would get a stimulator put in to be able to walk a mile the next day. I said, no, let's try your mailbox. And they go, oh,
Right.
okay. So when you set those little steps of boundaries or steps to get better, you're looking at this going, what do I do? And when you tell them what to do, then they follow that, the outcomes just go incredibly up. And that's so inspiring to see when people listen, it actually comes true.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've you got a lot of competition out there. All these places pop up left and right. They're on every street corner. And I remember 10 years ago it was pain pills, and now today it's the weight loss. How do you differentiate yourself from all that competition that's out there?
Yeah, I mean, weight loss is the playground to be in.
Mhm.
It wouldn't exist without competition. So, it's just like bodybuilding, it's kind of be boring if you were just the only one on stage, right?
Right.
I don't want to sound naive, but my competition is my own self.
Mhm.
And so, as the founder of MedFit, my job is to see things that nobody else sees. And so when you eliminate competition, the mantra that I give for my employees is that people can't do business if they don't know that we exist. Believe it or not, there's 7 billion people on this planet.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of people that need help with their health. So there's really no competition. It's almost like the dentist and another dentist that are literally block away from each other,
Right.
and they're both thriving. And so at the end of the day, I know my craft and attract, my style and the type of people who are going to come to me versus another company. So the competition is staying ahead 2 steps of the industry. That's what I consider competition. And that's why we want to continue to look for, again, the opportunities, which is what you guys are all about.
We're here to help you retain patients and grow your business. And that's I owned a bagel store before when I was younger. I made $1 million my first year. The
To me,
company was like, how did you do it? The key to success is going out and meeting your clientele base, not just showing up on an Instagram feed, but meeting the people where they're at or inviting them to your place. What are some of the things that have been really successful for you in marketing your company? And what are some of the things that you realize I will never do again?
yeah, in today's time, it's definitely more connection.
Right.
And obviously I can't shake everybody's hand, but what are you posting out there? How are
Right.
you being authentic? How are you being real is always going to trump, the sales post or look at
Yeah.
me, the cheapest product thing. Uh, the second thing is relationships with, people like you is
Yeah.
sort of like not direct people, but I always say, you're in my life for a reason.
All right.
And what is that? And to just cultivate that, even if it's just years down the road,
Mhm.
but it's just knowing that, okay, we are now connected in some fashion and create energy together, kind of thing. The one thing that the biggest advice that I have for people sort of starting out or whatnot is not trusting yourself was probably one of my biggest mistakes. And so, gosh, that darn intuition that just kicks in that you ignore.
Yeah.
The second thing is even though I hire consultants and, a team to help me build, at the end of the day, I am getting everybody to continue to follow my vision. I'm still the decision maker.
Absolutely. And you need to be. Too many
Yeah.
chefs in the kitchen ruin the pot. And you actually used that line. And I just said it 30 seconds before that to my wife. And then you came out and said it. She's like, look, you guys are on tune.
Yeah, I was reading the
We
article.
are.
Tony was like, "Yeah, there's too many cooks in the kitchen," and I was like, "No way! That is literally what she just said in the next article."
Yes.
People are
Yes.
connected.
No doubt. Yeah. And at the end of the day, probably the last piece is get out of my own way. I mean,
Yes.
I definitely been my own roadblock, 100%. So believe it or not, those are actually like sort of the biggest problems. People are just chasing like the next shiny object or whatnot. But if you just follow those basic things I just said, you make quantum leaps on what you can do.
Absolutely.
in today's
We
industry.
agree, every part of that. And what I meant, I just want to clarify, going out and meet people is one of the tools, though, is help you grow your business. Yes, the Instagram ads, Facebook ads, all that works, absolutely. But when you roll it all together into what your services you're offering, it makes a better outcome for the patients and for you. Honestly, you don't want those headaches of unhappy people. You want everybody to be happy as best they can.
And then also in like one of your articles, I wanted to kind of touch on, yeah, you just said it and trusting your gut. When you almost signed that big lease back in 2020 and something told you not to, I kind of wanted to kind of go over that with the listeners a little bit. So just trusting your instincts and trusting yourself.
Yeah, I mean, hesitation, actually, believe it or not, is the biggest sign of all. And we sometimes kind of think hesitation works against us, but when you have a hesitation, I finally realized that when I make decisions, especially how I'm built, it's got to be a full body yes. And if it's not 100%, that 1% keeping you from saying yes is like, oh, we're being redirected. And
How do you,
sometimes it feels awful being
right?
redirected, but it saves you in the long run.
And you did the smart decision, and I wish I did that decision because I'm paying for it now before our business. But you are definitely your calling should be going out and franchising this all and opening up more clinics that follow your rules and your guidance because it seems to be one of the best I've seen.
I appreciate that. And you're right. It's like as the vision, again, in weight loss, things are always changing, and sometimes it's just every day we get some news that causes us to pivot. But at the same time, it makes it exciting that you're not supposed to know what's next, but you can still create stability around the unpredictability for sure.
Absolutely. As long as you say confidence in yourself, you can overcome all the instability.
And then, so kind of pivoting back to that, just to let our listeners know, are you just in the Colorado region, or do you do patients all over the United States or outside?
Very good. Yeah, we're about to launch a platform that will allow us to go outside of Colorado. So stay tuned. We're just so excited. I mean, this is going back to sort of kind of your original question about just the hesitation on signing that new lease. Something in my body said that even in a bigger space, I was like, wow, I'm gonna outgrow this space. Like I already could feel it walking.
Wow.
And I just said, there's no way that I can sign this lease because I just know that we're going to outgrow this. So I already sort of kind of this had expansion feeling, and I just didn't know the definition of that. But I just knew, okay, don't create your own limit.
Right.
Sort of like that voice.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, you think that, wow, I just totally failed and didn't make the right move, only to find out that, again, you are being rerouted to the original plan that you just got to stick to.
That's very, very promising to hear you say that because that's what it's all about. As a project manager too, all we do is plan and
Mhm.
every step of every day. So yes, we know about it.
So,
Yeah.
in a blessing in disguise, COVID was actually kind of a great thing for your business. Looking back 5 years from now, but just kind of in the innovative and shifting and moving parts of everything. What does maybe a franchise opportunity look for you? Is that something that you've kind of toyed with, or?
Sure, sure. Again, it really is all about connection and partnership. As we're talking about just connecting with the right people who actually have the same values. It's not necessarily the smartest person who can make the most money or just, wants to get into the industry. It is, do you share the same pathway of belief in what we do? And then the thinking pattern, how we treat your employees, we always say that it's like owning an NFL team, it's just gotta, draft, the championship players who, show up to win it. I would love to see the connections down the road, but right now I know that I have the vision. I don't know exactly how, who is involved, but I do know that there are going to be people even, more skilled than I could ever see myself to
Mhm.
really build this out. My only job is to see the end point.
Yep. That's
Correct.
that. And that's funny. You've taken yourself out of one portion of it, or not all of it, but one, but you focused on another area. And that's what you talked about is the business side of this. How can I expand and grow my operations to reach more people? And that's amazing. So that's a positive. And when you say about the franchises, you don't care about the balance sheet. What you care about is the spirit and the heart of the person that's coming here, because your name is on those franchises. So if they're not a representative of you, Dr. Tram, then you don't want them in your club, right?
Yep.
So you just got to be equal, and you got to have the same traits and personalities, and that's the best way I think to look at business as well too. It's not about the smarts; it's about how hard can you work and drive and meet the expectations of the business.
Yes, 100%.
And so, like, another thing with everything that's been going on, what is some of the shifts that you're seeing in the industry right now?
Definitely, when we're talking about it, the marriage of technology and humanization.
Mhm.
And I don't want people to fear technology. I get it. There are a lot of people who just, really against what is evolving and hate to say it. Whether you like it or not, it's coming.
Right?
But at the same time, we live in an on-demand society. But the faster that you can get to the knowledge, the better that you
Yeah,
can make. And that's why I have the led from within movement, is because ultimately at the end of the day, you just have to have the right information, to move with that. But the second thing is that we just need to get back to the basics. And what I mean by that is that the reason why I came into this business in the first place is I don't give you band-aids, plain and simple. I'm not here to just plug a hole, give you medication, send you on your way. And 10 years later, you're taking medication, you don't even know why you were taking it, but because the doctor told you to, versus understanding that, the body heals itself, but you just have to understand how that works. And believe it or not, there's a lot of connection between disease and stress and nutrition and sleep and things.
absolutely.
So you can turn your body into a machine, for sure.
Mhm.
And then the third piece is, like I said, I still bring in an element of, spirit within this. I think people are missing the point. I'm not here to help you live 10 years longer. I'm here to help you live amazing years.
The unexamined life is not worth living, right? So you're giving people opportunity to examine their lives in a way they never thought they could by giving them the tools they need to be successful. All they need to do is plug in their own hard work, and it works.
Yes, I know. I tell you, I mean, death is scary, but hey, guess what is scarier? A slow death.
A miserable slow death.
So let's all wake up.
Yep, we're right
And
there with you.
Yeah.
there are tools and means, and you ultimately are the one to write your own chapters. And I'm here, to publish your book.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's the deep.
But, you know, we could tell that from you, from all your interviews, everything. Your mind, spirit, and body are all connected as one. And if you talk to any of the Asian, physicians that I have who come from the Orient themselves, they'll all tell you the same thing. They rather just have your body in tune to heal itself versus taking the prescription medications that are out there. And that's what turned me off from prescriptions. Being in the industry itself, I noticed that there was less and less cures and more treatments. And I'm like, wait a second, there's a problem here, because why are there no cures anymore? There's treatments. And so there's other ways to heal the body than just the medication. So
Yep, absolutely.
And then kind of pivoting back a little bit, you said technology and humanization. What is your thoughts kind of going into this new industry in this 2025 world of the AI in medicine?
I am all in on wearable technology. Again, I'm sorry to say it's the Asian gene techie nerd. And I mean, I'm addicted to, you throw me a new technology and, I'm all in, kind of a thing. But again, it just helpful to, for example, one of my, trackers that I use, it tells me when I can go all out. But
uh-huh.
at the same time, it also tells me when to rest and recover.
Mm-hmm.
And be honest with you,
Yeah.
my mind likes to ignore, which has gotten me into trouble. I'm just a go all out every day, all
Yeah.
day.
We're awesome. Yeah.
Yes, but now that I'm getting older,
More
female,
mature, be like
all of that.
us
So
older people like to say
yes,
mature.
yes. There is beauty in working smarter and not harder.
Yes.
But again, I love the technology because it just measures certain metrics that, back in the day we just didn't have access to.
Right.
And again, time sensitivity on what you need to do in response to that. I mean, even just the basics of, monitoring your heart rate. There's so many patients that I have known that have their technology has saved their lives, ended up in the ER because detected an abnormal heart rhythm,
Right.
that they weren't even aware of. So it's amazing, and I continue to evolve. I'm a huge fan of all the different companies, but I'm telling you that needs to really be a major sector in healthcare for sure.
They say AI is pretty much a lot more accurate than physicians are.
Mhm.
So my thought for AI would be hopefully it'll help reduce insurance costs and stuff because then you can say, I don't need 20 tests. I just need this one test to prove what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And the nice thing about it is that yes, we always will need the humanization of it.
Mhm.
However, sometimes the emotion gets in the way, and fear will often make us have, perhaps like the wrong information. But when you have an AI that can just get you the statistics,
Right.
very emotionless, unbiased sort of response to your question, believe it or not, it's sort of the difference between, okay, my odds is that I need to go to the ER and I'm going to go now,
Mhm.
versus a human who say, well, let's just sort of see if it gets worse, or
Right.
call me back. And well, that's not the wrong thing to do. But again, time sensitivity and
Mhm.
times, I was saying this, you're in healthcare, which is great.
Yeah.
I feel for those who don't have a friend or family member in healthcare.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm
They're
alluded today.
just so lost, and sometimes you literally just need someone to tell you what to do, and
Hmm.
that second is enough to actually make a huge difference.
How do you feel about this? I noticed in society too, as well, that just because you have a door open, you have marketing out there, there are people who may still not know anything about your field. What do you see today? I mean, I feel that's a big part of, what society is, that we're not getting enough information or the correct information out to people to know about these things.
So, back to what I was saying, I can't talk to you if you don't know that I exist. And
Right.
so that's why we do spend so much time in different platforms, whether it's podcasts, social media, LinkedIn, and I want you to know about me. And
Right.
I know that is a tough position because we all don't want to be public, and there's a lot of vulnerability and just putting yourself out there. But at the end of the day, um, the people who need to hear from me will find me. And that's my job, is to spread my energy in
Yeah.
different forms so that that one person who was praying for me, that I show up for them. And
My
that's
gosh,
what I do.
you're a blessing, honestly. This is I don't even know how to blow smoke. I mean, but you're just a blessing to hear. And like, I've been in here so long. I've heard everything, seen it all. I mean, 30 years in healthcare is a lot.
Yes.
And you're one of the few. Like I could probably see three doctors I've met who actually have that same holistic spiritual feeling that you vibe off of right now. You give that out. You exude it. And I love it.
And so, going into everything, what is working well for your business, and what would you say would maybe be the most frustrating part with it right now?
Yes, over communication. In fact, we actually already sent, had a staff meeting on just people know, people need to know that they have access to us and we're here to communicate. That
Hmm.
will solve, over 90% of the problems,
Yeah.
uh, type of thing. The frustrating part is the patient's lack of knowledge out there will misjudge us.
Yeah.
So we are sort of put in the same boat as, quote, our competition. So we, and I'm up for the fight, but the fight of trust building out there. But it's sort of like we recognize that we are being judged as a book by its cover. But again, that's the beauty of this game. It's American Ninja Warrior to open it
Yeah.
up,
Love that show.
see the inside,
Yeah.
and then now this is an adventure. But we are going to look like a cover in the beginning. until people listen to this podcast and
Mhm.
open up and see, the inside.
Yeah, just do a couple of minutes of research and you'll find how great you are compared to other people. It's a good feeling to have.
Oh yes, for sure.
Yes.
And I know when we had talked in our little pre-call, you said you love numbers and all about the facts, and you like to see it on paper, and numbers don't lie. What are some metrics that are you most focused on improving throughout the
Oh, sleep is the worst thing that I still can't figure out. I'm just going to be transparent now. If I wake up at 2, I'm going to work out at 2 a.m. And I also eat dinner at 4:30 and I take a nap at 6. So
Oh,
I no longer live on a normal timeline,
right.
but that's okay. I'm old. So, don't invite me out after 7. I'm not going to make it, kind of thing. So even me, I do eat healthy, I exercise, but sleep is what we all struggle. And it's just one of the hindrances, type of thing. The second thing is recovery is like my absolute favorite. And it's not necessarily because I need to rest today, because I exercised yesterday, just understanding, the metric, what they call heart rate variability, and really just understanding, did you have a stressful work day? Did you not drink enough water? Maybe you only got
Mhm.
5 hours of sleep instead of 7. And so I value the recovery. And then the last is very interesting, is new to me, but now we are able to track the age of pacing, which I didn't even know that existed until it
I
became.
never heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it became a newly upgrade to the tracker that I use.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't understand why you haven't upgraded yet since we met.
Yeah, I know, right? I have one of those back there, and my buddy Emma Smith, who's a fitness guru like yourself, but on the fitness side, she talked me into getting one, and she is 3 years ago. She's been wearing it religiously and
Yeah.
tracks everything. So the
Yeah.
secret is, Doc, is your technology.
Yes, yes. And we may sound obsessed, but I tell you, it is a healthy obsession.
Yeah,
Really, I'm just peaking while I'm here.
yeah.
Mm.
And that's really at the end of the day, that's why I have weird sleeping hours and I operate differently. But hey, you know what? It works for me because I'm in my own game of life.
Absolutely. It's great when you can run it yourself the way you want to run it.
Yeah.
And that's
Yep.
what this opportunity gives you, is the affordability to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And so what we want to do is be able to triple you.
You can wake up at 2
Working on
a.m.
it.
and go to bed at 7.
But hey, Doc, it was wonderful meeting you. Please, I hope we can talk to you outside of this. There's some areas I'd love to talk to you about technology-wise stuff, but I have another meeting to go to.
Well, thank you so much for having me as a guest. It's a blast. And again, I'm just here, like you all, just figuring out being healthy, reducing my need for medications. But at the end of the day, this is my story to write, from the being that I am. And, I just appreciate you guys for sharing that vision too.
Yes, of course. And definitely want to tell the listeners where we can get more information, how they can contact you, maybe with the expansion throughout the country, everything. That would be great.
Yeah, they can hit the website at medfitmedicalweightloss.com, or, the easiest is find me on Instagram at medfitdrtran. I am very active on there and just really, speaking my voice, educating, and just helping you get through the noise so that you can get the facts and really understand what you need to do for your health.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Tran. And thank you for another listening of Acquire the Future podcast. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.